This is the stock shifter for the CRV, and it is so long, just crazy long. So I don't want to think too hard about what to do here, so I'm just gonna chop this off right here. Took a rough idea sitting in the car that it would be fine. I'm gonna chop this off, and weld it back down here. That is the plan. I'm gonna start prepping. That's where we're at. Just got a grinder and some like not super awesome tools. So I tried to make it straight, pretty straight. I'm gonna clean it up. Yep, yada yada, here I go. My shifter is now shortened. So all the, you know, stock shifters, aftermarket shifters, they always got some bends going on, but I'm straight on that. I don't know, maybe I should have put a bend in there or something, but what do I know? Look, you can't even tell I welded it. So anyways, fairly straight. There's that. I gotta get rid of this dealio. I mean, like I had mentioned previously, I probably could trim the bottom of this, but there's not, I don't think there's too much meat. Like, you know, I would need to cut this, say a circle, part of a circle right here, but this is very thin, this wall. There's not actually too much to work with. I don't know. I could probably do it, but I'm thinking about it. The reason why I wouldn't just get rid of this is because being original and trying to make it able to be reverted back to stock or front wheel drive. But in the case of I ever want to revert to stock, I really don't need this thing. Obviously I would put it back. It's welded on, right? So if I take it out, I would have to weld it back in, which is fine. I can work with that. But I could still use the front wheel drive shifter with just these two nuts, welded nuts. So this isn't too terribly big of a deal. I'm just reasoning out loud as to why I'm about to, you know what, maybe I should cut this off. Just cut it off, because this portion, the plate, the portion of this that you can't see, which is a plate underneath, that's spot welded to this, is pretty large. It goes about to here. Oh, and this is kind of built into it, like it goes around that. So anyways, it's probably adding some reinforcement if I just cut this off instead of drill out the spot welds, and then I'll have a thinner piece of metal here to mount this to. So I'm gonna do that, so then I can get a good feel of where this was, how it'll sit low and stuff. I can figure out if I want to mount it here or here or here or here or here or here or here, maybe here. So I'm not excited to, I mean, it's simple. I'm just like, for some reason, dreading figuring out where the cables are going to go out into the bay. It'll be simple. I'll decide on a place and then I'll cut a hole. So got my CRV shifter. It was actually missing these little grommets and such, so I got these from, I think, a Prelude shifter box, and they are not meant to be here. They're a little bit the wrong size. They had to get forced in. They're in there. The Prelude shifter deal holes are larger than CRV. So anyways, I've decided to cut this off. I'm just going to cut it as close to the seam as I can. I'll probably just work on the inside. First thing, I'm just going to cut this off, and I have a grinder that would be faster and stuff, but it's a little more dangerous, cumbersome. There'll be more sparks, so I'm just going to use this Dremel. It'll definitely take longer, but she's free. That cut came out pretty good, pretty flush and stuff. I'll make it a little more flush, maybe right here, so that soon when I have a welder, I can get a plate nice and flat right here and weld it. I got this where I want it, and I was thinking just to center this ball in the direct center of this hole, because I think that's where the factory shifter probably was, but kind of have to work with this if I bring it center, I don't have very much meat to drill into on this side. So anyways, it's a little bit off-centered, but I got it where I want, and then just marked some holes through the holes, marked some spots, and just drilled them out. There they are. So, got a set of hardware, all the same length and stuff. I don't think there's any need for a washer on the side because you have this collar. But, got these cool. These are from there, the steering column nuts. I just found 4. They're pretty solid. They got washers, all that, so I'll use those on the underside. Right, so I got my shifter linkage just loosely mounted here for mock-ups, and I'm seeing where they naturally go. So I ran them over the T-bracket. I got a lot of hoses and lines and wires back here. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, the engine harness isn't even in place at the moment. I pulled the heater hoses out of the way so I could kind of work with it a little better. Anyways, so these, they're gonna run probably just like that over my fuel filter, and which will make it pretty hard to service the fuel filter later on. Maybe I'll see if it can move over that way, but I want the least resistance probably in the wires, although I don't think it's that big of a deal, as long as it's not kinked. I say that because I bent the wires and still was able to push in and out with the cables inside. So now we're underneath the car, believe it or not, and here are the cables. I'll show you. This is a ground wire I have. This used to be a heat shield bolt hole, but I wanted a ground on like the chassis, and then I also have a ground from the block to this subframe. So anyways, I made sure it was red because that makes sense. Anyway, it doesn't make sense. It should be black. This is the cable. These are all my accessory wires to like all the different AEM gauges and the flex fuel gauge. So there's that. This is a factory hole for the O2 sensor. So we just kind of mock this up, push it up. You can see the plastic one is pretty much lined up with where it's going to go on that guy. And the metal line is shorter, and that kind of lines up because, yeah, this is a little bit closer to the driver's side on the shift linkage. It makes sense that it's shorter. That's good. So, looking at where I'm going to put this guy, I'm going to carve a hole that is meant for this grommet. Grommet. Some people call them grommets. I don't really know. I mean, I'm going to go up there and find the best place, but so far this looks pretty good. Right here, maybe? Right here. But that's kind of a hard angle on these guys because this grommet doesn't want to be just like flush flat. But especially, I don't think it was ever designed to be up that high. It has these dealios I'd have to cut back, no problem, but we'll see. Ideally, if I had like a place further up, then this grommet would be more happy to flex the wires. Also, I'd like to mention, I said something about how there wasn't much meat on on the sides, right? Well, when I put the bolts through and then I went to put these washer nuts on, that wasn't really gonna work. So I flipped the bolts upside down, but even still, the bolt is too thick to really, you know, it's probably gonna tear out the side of this if I really go on it. What I think I'm gonna do is shave the side of the bolt off so it's flat for this wall. And put it up, just push it up. I'm not gonna try to use this to turn it all. Push it up on both sides, and I'll probably also shave a washer so the washer is flat and it can still work on the surface area to keep things sturdy. And then I'll just use the nut on top to nut it down, right? And with an impact, I won't have to hold this. And also, especially since I shave one side, I won't have to hold that. It'll kind of lock itself. And I will point out, this is the lower portion of the seal sheet, you know, that I cut off the metal that allows for the seal. But anyway, here's the other part of it that I was talking about drilling the spot welds on, but I decided to leave it to strengthen the stuff up. So there's that. I'm gonna go up in the cabin and look for how to put that. So if I had it, obviously it has to be before this or after this thing. And if I had it right here, it'd probably be a pretty extreme angle to get the guys in here. It might work, but I think it would be extreme. I might actually think about that a little more. Maybe I could put it closer to this guy. If that's enough room, I might do that. Be ashamed to cut the carpet. I like to have not cut carpet. But so now I am going to remove this thing so that I can pull the carpet back. I'll remove this lower plate too, also so I could just pull the carpet back and get a better view of what I have going on here. Like those are all the wires for the gauges and stuff. There's kind of a lot going on there. Let's see what happens here. All right, well, I decided on the front or the back or whatever you want to say. This would probably work, but I don't know. There's a chance that it might be a little kinky because it would have to come up and then bend. Kind of, you know, I'm not really sure about that one. Just too close. So I'm doing back here. I'm gonna basically cut out this spot probably. I don't really want to tear everything out. I probably should remove this thing so I can pull the whole carpet. Actually, I realized that all my gauge wires are on this side of the carpet, so I'd have to cut the carpet to do that, or remove all the gauge wires and pull them through and screw that. I'm gonna see if I can just work with it. But in the end, I think I'm probably gonna need to cut the carpet anyways to get the wires under here. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I don't freaking really know. Why do I care about not cutting my carpet? Just because, you know how many jank Hondas you've seen with hacked carpet? If the carpet's cut here, the Honda might be jank. Anyways, I'm gonna do that spot. I'm gonna go up underneath here. And how I'm gonna go about this is I'm gonna take my micrometer or caliper or whatever you want to say. I'm gonna measure, like awkwardly. I'll squeeze it in to see how big do I think this hole needs to be. Obviously, it doesn't need to be this big or even this big. It needs to be as big as the depth of the gap. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So I will figure that out and figure that out. And then I'll probably make 4 points. Highest point, widest point, ding, ding, ding. So there's the best hole I can do. Take these guys, probably not get them in there just so easily. It's the carpet. I'm gonna have to go up there and figure out what's my plan. The carpet, maybe. Get over there. Get over there. Get over there. Yeah, yeah. Get through. All right, I just need to know how this fits. If it fits. Pretty good, probably. We'll see. And there she is. The hole could be a little larger, so it fit a little easier, but I'd rather it be a little smaller than a little larger. Maybe I'll fix it up later, but it's pretty snug. Definitely not coming out, definitely sealing water. So I'll paint the cut metal before I perma mount it, but this might be a little difficult because I'm gonna have to get these cables up and through there, and then yeah, now that I know it'll fit, I'll pull them out, and I might fix it up a little because I'm not sure if it's gonna stay that portion, yada yada. I'll pull this out. Just to overview, here are these guys. I don't have the hardware on there yet. There's like a washer, there's some washers that sit in certain places. There's one, and there's another. There's another, and then one more. And then don't forget your OEM cotter pins for nonsense. So anyways, those go in a certain position on here. And boom, 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 boom. There is not too much resistance. Like this moves in and out pretty easily. I'm missing a little clip that goes on the bottom of the shifter. It secures this ball to the cable to this little guy. Keeps the ball in the socket. It's a little clip. I don't have it, so it's kind of hard to properly test this out and see how it feels. Plus, I don't have any gears in my transmission right now. So, anyways, there you go. That's how I mounted my shifter. I kind of, I don't like all this stuff right here, but it's the price you gotta pay for things, gauges and subs. I kind of probably would have rather had this go on the other side of the cables, but hindsight is 20/20. I think I'll leave it. I don't think it'll be an issue. I'll show you the grommet on the inside of the body. There it is. So you can see it is metal is within the lip, and the grommet is protecting the cables from being cut right there. So that is that. Nice and good. Good and nice. Very excited. So I'm gonna get the clip on the bottom. I'm probably gonna make one. It's just like just need a really hard wire that I can bend up, hard thin wire. And then when I get a welder, I will remove this and weld that plate over the bottom there. And like I said, I'm gonna shave off some of the sides of those bolts and make some washers with flat sides as well. And yeah, just a couple buttoning up things to do, but you know what? Let me put my thingy here. All right, so that is gonna sit pretty much like that. I will be able to fit that in here still. It's a little crammed, I will admit. And if I could do this again, I would probably make this a little shorter, although it's probably right about at stock height, which is good instead of crazy long CRV. So there it is, OEM SI shift. Well, it's actually a Type R shift knob, and I took the red stitch out and put black stitch in to make it as close as I can to an EM1 shift knob. Alright, so that's it for the shifter, and the final touches you can see in the later videos, I'm sure. Hope you enjoyed. I took this video through over like 4 or 5 days or so while doing other things like the driveline, but I'm piecing certain clips together so that way you can kind of get a better idea of like one thing at a time. So, see ya.